Well, good evening, America, and welcome to the most diverse conversation in the LGBTQ world. Tonight, the LGBT community has learned that Donald Trump can do or say nothing that will turn his base against him. And the LGBTQ community seems to have surrendered to COVID 19. We won't wear a mask, and we damn sure won't take Trump's Election Day vaccine. Tonight, we will discuss what it is all about in terms of LGBTQ drama. Lady Bunny and others suggest RuPaul's Drag Race is fake drama to entertain us, but we love it. And in just one more sentence, we're going to talk about Gretchen Wiener's finally getting a toaster strudel. Michelle Obama gives dating advice to the LGBT community. Tu Wong Fu turns 25, and Aaron Carter gets on OnlyFans and apparently has the goods. We are also going to talk about Jelly Bell, a golden ticket contest to win the Candy Factory. And finally, we're going to talk about The Boys on Amazon Prime as they show us when the good guys are bad, and we really love it. So now, something totally unique, an interactive platform for the LGBTQ conversation on these topics with interesting individuals from our community, the topics that we've just talked about, and your ability to participate. And that means we found something totally new. And this is all live for Thursday, September 10th, 2020, next on Gay Town Hall.
He's accused of his done. Has to play back to the base.
Packed the patio outside at Atlanta bar with no masks or social distancing.
Well, good evening again, America, and the entire LGBTQ world. Welcome to Gay Town Hall. This conversation is completely live. So with this group of people, I can already tell you anything can happen, both technically in streaming, be patient with us, this is super complicated, and in the words that are getting ready to come out of the mouths of these participants. I'm your moderator, Al Ferguson, so let's meet this amazing cast and let's ask them what's on their mind this week. First up is Randy Boo. He's an Asian pop star from Hollywood, California. Good evening, Randy.
Good evening, Al. Good evening, America.
And what's on your mind this week, Randy?
This week I've been thinking about when will all the fitness centers open up?
Gyms, all righty. And this is Reverend Dr. Darrell Watkins. He is the senior pastor of Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church. He lives here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Good evening, Darrell.
Hi, everyone. What's on my mind this week is the seemingly endless conflagration that's happening in the Northwest United States.
Next up is Matthew Sackman. He is a business entrepreneur and is the creator of Gay Town Hall and lives in Hollywood, but not the best Hollywood, in Florida. Good evening, Matthew.
Hello, America. Hello to all my dreamers, believers, and entrepreneurs. What's on my mind is what does it take to actually be a leader? Is it to inform all of your party or the people that work with you, all the details, or to hold back?
Next up is Houston Cypress. He is a two-spirit gay Native American and lives with the Miccosukee tribe of Florida, right here in the heart of the Florida Everglades. Good evening, Houston.
Hey, good evening, Al in America. This week, I'm thinking about the fact that the west coast of Turtle Island is burning. So I want to send my heart out to all my two-spirit friends and family. We haven't forgotten about you. We love you. We care about you.
And next up is Dr. I'm contractually obligated to say that, America.
I remind him every day.
Dr. Ty Hauser. He is a progressive college professor from Wilton Manors, Florida, and just did Queer News Tonight with me.
Yes.
Welcome, Ty.
Good evening, Al, jokers, cokers, and smokers. How are we? This week on my mind, I'm a gunkle for the third time. My sister gave birth to a healthy baby girl today, so I was very, very happy about that.
Oh, congratulations. That's wonderful news. And next up is John Holt. I stayed the weekend with him. For Labor Day, he identifies with a non-culture definition and even kind of anti-culture. He lives in America's largest gay campground, the Sawmill in Dade City, Florida. Good evening, John.
Good evening. What's on my mind is the new Dune trailer. It did not disappoint. I'm very concerned that Timothée Chalamet may not live up to Kyle MacLachlan, but I can't wait to find out.
Interesting. And this is Rossaroni. He is right now coming from Maine, but he is an actor and a theater drama queen living in Lantana, Florida. Good evening, Rossaroni.
Good evening. What's on my mind is I'm seriously considering getting into some film, and I have my little board ready. Can you see it? Is it backwards?
Yes. Rossaroni, it's called OnlyFans. This is Elimination Onyx. He's a sex-positive leather pansexual from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Good evening, Elimination.
Good evening, Al. Good evening, kinky humans. What's on my mind this week is I feel that someone needs a superhero. That someone may be me, but today is suicide awareness, and we want to reach out to everyone and give everyone love and say, if you need help, reach out. We love you.
All right, and enough for all the damn testosterone. Let's change the stream that we're swimming. And this is Amber Taylor. She is a feminine lesbian with big dick energy. She lives right here in Wilton Manors, Florida. Good evening, Amber.
Hi, good evening, everyone. What's on my mind as I sit alone with my big dick energy is, should I hit the apps? Which app? Is there a beautiful genderqueer woman out there looking for me too? Don't forget to comment, ladies.
Wow, I think the hook just got thrown right into the water. Next up is Denise Spivak. She is the CEO of Centerlink, America's community of LGBTQ centers, and she lives right here in Wilton Manors. Good evening, Denise.
Good evening, Al, and good evening, everybody. On my mind this week is LGBTQ community centers and just the amazing work that they're doing, helping communities and often saving lives every single day. So big shout out to them.
Yeah. And next up, a guest host tonight on Gay Town Hall. This is George Schulte. And George is a gay conservative or libertarian and is a world traveler. He was born in Georgia, but now lives in South Florida. Good evening, George.
Good evening. And tonight, what's on my mind is I think we have a problem with too much fake news. The media has shown their bias over and over again. And I think it's worth pointing out that the founding fathers really intended the press to be free and not slanted. Yeah, so that's what's absolutely on my
mind. And America, tonight we introduce you to a unique host, and that's you. This is David Hopkins. He is the creative inspiration at America's most popular live LGBTQ TV show, It's Happening Out. Tonight, he helps you. He is going to represent you as a moderator on Facebook and YouTube. So comment there in the threads. He can bring your comments directly onto the screen, and if you would like, can even place you in the live conversation with these hosts and our discussion. We encourage you to participate in the thread and tell us what you think about the topics that we're discussing at Gay Town Hall. So good evening, David, as America's voice of Gay Town Hall.
Hey, good evening, everybody. You've probably noticed I've been trying to get your hellos up on screen already for our hosts. If you see me not looking at the camera, that's because I'm typing, reading comments, or otherwise distracted between YouTube and Facebook. So make sure to invite your friends to join.
And also, America, I'll clue you in
Pornhub.
because we are socially distanced, correct? But he is on the set here at Gay Town Hall. And he's also got two phones, and one of them seems to be tuned into Scruff and the other to Grindr.
Actually, Adam for Adam, but that's okay.
Or Adam for Adam. Okay, I've been corrected. All right, so let's begin tonight, the LGBTQ America's discussion with our first hot topic. What the entire world is talking about this week. The LGBTQ community has watched 4 years, unlike anything in our history. We live in our tribes of unconditional support or unconditional rejection of Donald Trump. Before we consider what's next, watch this.
I wanted to hear what you had to say. But the bottom line is, he told Bob Woodward privately that this was a deadly virus and that it was airborne. Didn't the public, didn't the citizens in your home state of Louisiana deserve to know that as well, so that they could change their behavior appropriately to protect themselves?
Well, number one, Pamela, I'm not going to repeat what I just said, but all I can tell you is what my personal experience has been. Number two, let me say a word about this infatuation in Washington with who said what to whom. I learned pretty quickly up here.
No, Senator, I'm sorry. I'm not going to let you do this. Okay, this is, I understand there's so much politics right now. We're 2 months away from an election, but this is life and death. You had 5,000 people that have died in Louisiana from coronavirus. Republicans are reluctant, as you are now, to ever criticize this president. But as a human being, how can you be okay with this?
Well, if I could finish my answer. I have learned in Washington, D.C., I'm sort of existential or Sartrean about Washington, D.C. To be is to act. You learn pretty quickly not to judge people up here by what they say. You have to judge them by what they do. And all I can tell you, Pamela, is what my personal experience has been.
She asked Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana over and over and over again for 9 minutes to comment specifically on what he learned from the Woodward interview that was on tape, and he would not comment on it. BLM is defeated by the law and order president because they are just looters and rioters. He suggests our military personnel are losers and suckers. We have seen universal destruction of opponents and words that have come out of a president's mouth unlike anything we have seen in history of this republic. Yet he wins. The destruction of 16 Republican candidates and a dynasty name, Clinton, in 2016. He wins. He wins with walls, immigration, economics, even the opening of our economy in the midst of the most dangerous health crisis in a century. But why? It is because half of America is unconditional for Donald Trump. So let's focus on hot topic number one. The LGBTQ community has learned that Donald Trump can do or say nothing that will turn his base against him.
I don't buy any of that. First of all, he's got some kind of a base, maybe 30%, but he hasn't got 50% for sure. And I think the stuff that's happening with COVID and the stuff that's happening with the military is digging into his support base and changing it at the last minute. There's so many things interesting to talk about here. How did Woodward keep this secret for this long? And really, did we think that Donald Trump was going to do anything with this information anyways? I mean, we knew what he was like. It would have been nice to have masks early, but I recall the CDC saying that masks were not effective because we all were looking to get masks early. The CDC said they're not effective. So it just seems all mixed up to me. And I think that Trump can definitely lose.
So I would like to take his philosopher reference and raise him one. I'd be happy to have a closed book essay exam on the philosophies of continental philosophers since 1945, anytime he'd like to take that test with me. But I will also say that what we're talking about here is actually a Foucauldian example of power and knowledge. So the Trump administration has managed to control the knowledge that gets out to its base and to the people, and they've actually changed that knowledge and that narrative so that it supports their power. And the only way that we get over this is to have a revolution, which is what an election process is. We're not a democracy, we're a republic. Other republics have been formed, other republics have fallen, and George Washington called us the Great Experiment. If we're unable to have a revolution, I think we might have failed.
Well, I think for 240 years, our experiments worked pretty well, and that's why we have a constitution. And if you don't stay within the framework that worked for all this time, you stand a chance of possibly destroying that very experiment. Experiments are very tricky things. You put the wrong element in there, and you could have an explosion. So I would say you might want to really be careful about that.
Well, since we're talking about the founding
George, I would like to say that for 240 years, this so-called experiment of America has not been treating the indigenous people very well. And so I've always been critical of the Republicans as well as the Democrats. So I'd like to urge our communities and everybody else here watching to organize, and get to the vote and demand the society that you deserve.
Well, we have the society we deserve. That's who we elected as president.
That's right.
And you're
Go with those.
right. We have the society that we deserve, and Democrat versus Republican, it's all policy versus politics. And the problem is, as this experiment has happened, people have been left behind. People have been utilized as tools. People have been utilized as weapons. Let's not forget that it was the government who sent in spies to infiltrate the civil rights movement. When people were protesting the Vietnam War, when all those things, when it didn't fit their narrative, they utilized that as a weapon and then make the narrative what they saw, to then utilize it to make fear, to bring harm to others, and then enact that. You're right. We need to now fix this experiment. And
well, communist infiltrators also played a very big part in the Vietnam War as well. Not only organizing in the streets,
that's
but
absolutely
doing
not
a very
true.
good job of
That's
helping
absolutely
us
not
lose
true.
the war.
But I do
true.
want to point
Totally
out that the
documented.
Schoen said Democrats are no better. Let's stop blaming parties and blame and hold people holding office accountable. And I think that's exactly right. I mean, I have just as much of an issue with Nancy Pelosi as I do with Donald Trump.
Well,
so
you should.
Yeah. Oh no, I know that.
I vehemently disagree, though, with the idea that Trump is winning. That no matter what he does, he's winning. There is a difference between domination and winning. That fear and hate sells until it doesn't. And the Roman Empire is a perfect example of that. You can dominate for only so long, but domination is not winning, and it is not permanent.
Actually, the Roman Empire fell because people stopped fighting for it. So
First of all, Trump lost the popular vote. It was 3 million votes for Hillary Clinton.
Yes. And guess what?
Yeah, but that's not how you decide a winner in the United States.
I understand. And so there's a good question about how we should reform the system right
He's
there.
going to win again.
Well, wait a minute. And
put a better candidate forward.
The Electoral College, he won by what, 57,000 votes or something really ridiculous. So this guy has no kind of mandate,
the Electoral
and it's not
College
popular at all.
was about maybe 40 votes because each state has a certain number of votes based on population. That's why our founding fathers created the Electoral College. They didn't want 5 or 10 cities to dominate the entire country and leave everybody else out.
Right.
There's
What
a
I'm
very
saying is
important
there was
reason why we have an Electoral College.
They didn't want
there was three states, And he won the electoral college in those 3 states by having about 57,000 more votes in those 3 states.
Well, you win the state, you get all the votes. That's how
I understand, but it's such a small margin that we can easily win this back there because he's made every possible misstep in the world. If we can't win this back, then we really do have the country that we deserve.
Let me explain. He's running against Joe Biden, an old white guy.
The same guy that called for Breonna Taylor's arrest on TV the other day. He's freaking delirious. Are we going to act like he's of sound mind and pretend that he's...
Are you talking about senile Biden, or are you talking about
Amber,
Donald
I
Trump?
disagree with you on that. Because
definitely talking about how Biden seems delirious when he's...
Oh my gosh. So you mean to tell me that the police who went into someone's home in error and shot a person who was asleep in error should not be held accountable? You mean that they read a paper wrong? So if I come into your house wrongly,
no, that's not what she's saying.
Oh, I apologize. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Thank you. I'm so sorry.
He is so delirious that he said Breonna Taylor should be arrested.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I apologize. Thank you. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
No, but he is delusional, delirious all the time. I mean, he seems like he's not as sharp as he was a couple years ago. If you look at him speak on video a couple of years ago, I mean, Kamala is basically gonna pull this whole race for him.
I think Kamala is fascinating because she is the only one in the race who has a history and an ancestral history of owning 200 slaves in Jamaica. I don't know if you knew that, but she's the only descendant of slaveholders in the entire race.
And she's also a law and order candidate who's been the AG of California, which makes Trump look like an idiot. He hasn't even been in the military. He opted out of the military because he was a rich kid. This guy has no weight with anybody. It is shocking still that there are 30% of people following this business loser.
I think there's more than that.
I think it's also what I think it's
he's got a couple billion more than you.
And he's not doing very well with it, is he?
He's going to win this race from a bunch of people that say that they hate Trump, and then when they go to the polls, they're going to vote for him.
And big shout out and thank you to Joy. Big shout out and thank you to Joy. We have to stop using our energy on what we don't want and redirect our energy into what we do want. Yes. I think that's exactly right, Joy.
If Trump wins, it will be from the people who don't vote.
I know a lot of Trump supporters, and I myself am not a Trump supporter, first of all, but a lot of them base their entire support of him is, and this is almost like a side quest here, but what he has done or allegedly done against human trafficking.
He's done a lot of that. Actually, he's kept most of his campaign promises, so it's kind of hard to fault him from that point of view. We actually have a politician who basically held to all the things he promised in the campaign, which is pretty rare in politics, to tell you the truth.
I find that complete and utter bullshit. And
yeah,
I wonder
I'd
why
like to see your list.
Why didn't the Republicans show up to the Republican National Convention?
Here, but you can Google it. The list is about 100 points.
Where were
Where
the Republicans at the Republican National Convention? There wasn't any. It was a Trump convention. It was the stupidest show I've ever seen in my life. The Republicans need to come up with a new party.
Unlike the dreary Democrat convention, which was sort of a hate fest of America, I thought the Republican convention was actually quite good in comparison. Much better production values.
Are you kidding? They brought a kid on who stutters and they let him speak, and you call this a hate fest? What planet are you living on?
So let's look at this. So Trump gave us barriers to healthcare. He put in judges and officials who were anti-LGBT. He stripped away transgender rights and protections. He fired advisors who could have stopped the pandemic, who could have helped with HIV protection. He created healthcare where many people who were in flux while affordable healthcare was being fought, who died of cancer and died of other illnesses, pre-existing conditions, because they couldn't get it right. So yeah, he's done a whole lot. He hasn't built the wall yet, but he's done a whole lot. He put a whole lot.
500 miles under his belt.
I don't even think his corporate masters want him reelected. I think after COVID and destroying the economy of this country, I think they even want him out.
Let me answer the question. I will not be voting for Trump, for the record, because I don't like my rights stripped away.
Someone is asking Amber if you're supporting Trump.
Yeah, I'm not supporting Trump, but I do think that Trump is going to win. I think his base is huge, and I think that racists side with Trump, and we have a lot of them in this country.
And let me,
Everybody, I have
just
to
give you a very quick
wait,
aside.
George. I'm sorry. I have to cut back in because unfortunately our allotted amount of time here has expired. But obviously we have hit a touch button in terms of the support of the president, and of course the most important thing that comes out of it is his electability of what will happen November 3rd. To close this first hot topic tonight on Gay Town Hall, I want to ask a question. I want to take a quick poll. I need you to say just yes or no, not 50-50, no other words, no other comments, just yes or no. Does everybody understand what I've just asked you to do?
Yes.
Yes or no? The question is, on this topic, with what we've learned yesterday in the Woodward interview tapes, will the majority of Americans care he talked to China on February 7th, knew it was airborne, masks were needed, and it was far more dangerous, the COVID-19 virus, than he ever expressed to the public? Will the majority of Americans care? Yes or no? Randy?
No, absolutely not.
Yes.
Darrell?
No.
Matthew?
I'm gonna say yes.
Just yes or no is all I need. Houston?
No, they're not going to care.
Ty?
I'm going yes.
John?
Yes.
Rossaroni?
Sure.
Yes or no, please. Say yes or no.
Yes or no.
Amber? Okay, I can't
No.
ask questions anymore.
I'm a no.
Amber? Denise?
No.
And George?
No, not at all.
Okay, so it's
And
about
elimination
half and
says no,
half
too.
in terms of the question of whether it will make any difference at all. Let's move on out of hot topic number one by talking tonight about an interesting segment called Just One More Sentence. Tonight, I'm going to give an interesting headline from this week, and all of the Gay Town Hall hosts are going to weigh in by writing the story themselves. But there is a twist. They can do it in just one more sentence, but combined, all of the hosts will tell the story in a hilarious, interesting, and entertaining way. First, just one more sentence. Polling suggests that Mean Girls is one of the most popular movies in the LGBTQ community. We seem to love the underdog, and gay boys everywhere celebrated the news that Gretchen may actually get the last laugh. So let's write the story in just one more sentence. Headline: Gretchen Wieners finally gets the justice she deserves as Pillsbury unveils Mean Girls toaster strudel. Randy?
Oh my gosh, toaster strudel just became so fetch.
Darrell?
If they've resurrected Fetch, there's hope for Lindsay Lohan's career.
Oh, Matthew?
Can I go ahead and call a number? Because this is just like really just, girl, get over it.
Houston?
It's so fetch.
If you're not diabetic already, I should have probably give it to you. Stay away.
Hi.
So I think I totally misunderstood this because I thought Mean Girls and pastry is when Al and Power got together for the Great British Bake Off.
Oh my.
Oh,
John.
wow.
Gretchen, stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
Happened. Rossaroni?
Except on Thursdays, we eat Pop-Tarts.
Elimination.
It only gets hotter when you add Dad's cream to it.
Hey.
Amber?
Oh.
That's disgusting. Toaster strudels are so gross, though. They are so disgusting. Don't eat them. They're bad for you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you for the FDA message.
Boring.
Denise?
So really, it's a meaner wiener strudel, and pink ladies rejoice.
Wow.
George?
I'd say a wiener strudel in the toaster could be very painful.
Sounds like you got some experience there, Libertarian. The LGBTQ community seems to live in our dating and hookup apps, Grindr, Scruff, Silver Daddies, and so many more. But former First Lady Michelle Obama catches our attention in her recommendations. Gay boys, are you listening? So let's write the story in just one more sentence. Headline: Michelle Obama gives the LGBTQ community dating advice by saying, quote, "You can't Tinder your way into a long-term relationship." Randy.
You may not find relationship in that, but I can grind my way into scruffing my junk into a silver daddy's throat.
Yeah, really.
Hey,
Took my line.
nasty.
Wait, I got Michelle Obama on the phone. Darrell.
Well, I met my same-sex spouse the old-fashioned way in seminary, but the first lady,
True.
the first lady is right. It takes work to make it work.
I just have to tell you, America, Darrell just told one of the best jokes that in this is the 9th episode of Gay Town Hall, and that was one of the best jokes ever. Matthew.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on my grinder. If anybody wants to find me, you can find me at babyboy.com. Yes, hit me up. I am single and very available.
Houston.
Oh, and also I have Adam for Adam. You can find me on Facebook.
Houston.
You know, believe it or not, I know people that have hooked up and got married off of Grindr, so she don't know what she's talking about.
Ooh, hi.
I've had plenty of long-term relationships. I mean, they wake up in the morning, I make them breakfast, and they go home. It's perfect.
John?
Yeah, I may not be able to Tinder myself a long-term relationship, but I can scruff myself a great domination session.
Rossaroni.
Easy to say when she's married to the president.
Ooh, elimination. There's truth in that statement. Elimination.
First Lady, I just need a lifelong entanglement. It'll do.
Amber.
I have to side with you on that lifelong entanglement thing. Open yourself to love. Apps or whatever it is. You never know who you might meet, even if it's Grindr, even if it's Tinder, people.
Wow. Denise.
Well, maybe not Tinder, but you can U-Haul your way to love, said every lesbian always.
We believe in love.
George?
We still believe in it.
George?
Well, it's easy to say when you made $100 million in the White House. I don't know. I'd say meeting people in person is probably the best way to do it. But, you know, if you want something quick, short, and fast, the apps will work.
Oh, well, not short. Never short. Next, we focus on the LGBTQ hot topic of the week number 2. We are in month 9 of a worldwide pandemic. We know that masks are 95% effective in preventing the spread of coronavirus, but we know what is happening also in the LGBTQ community. Before we explore what's next, watch this.
This past weekend, dozens packed a patio outside at Atlanta Bar with no masks or social distancing in sight. And more are scheduled over the next few days.
So there's no way that you can tell me that you guys were social distant. The venues were packed. There was not a mask in sight.
Terrence Stewart is chair of Atlanta Black Pride, scheduled this weekend. While the LGBTQ festival is all virtual this year, some party promoters are hosting in-person events with the organization's blessing if they agree to limit capacity and adhere to CDC guidelines.
We started the year in isolation and fear, but in the destruction of our LGBTQ social life of 2020, we tired of virtual events. We want to return to a perceived life of normalcy. First, there was Memorial Day, then Fire Island July 4th, and now we've watched our gay Labor Day beach and pool parties. We are willing to go back to our bars, becoming wink wink to buy a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We likely don't say it out loud, but we don't want to wear a mask. We had sex during AIDS, and COVID-19 is no AIDS. So we are willing to take the risk for ourselves, our friends, our families. So we explore hot topic number 2. The LGBTQ community surrenders to COVID-19. We won't wear a mask, and we damn sure won't take Trump's election day vaccine. What do y'all think?
I first have to say, I'm sorry. To the LGBTQ community, you guys gotta get your shit there. You already know that we do not have anybody on our side for our protection. So we have to protect ourselves. And you cannot tell me that wearing a mask, it's like a fashion statement gone wrong, when we've seen from just the VMAs, Lady Gaga was able to make it work. So we are the most creative part of the industry and economic part of it. Do something with the mask. Create something. Make it a fashion statement. There should be no reason that we're not wearing masks. We're not washing our hands. And trust me, when it comes to sex, you don't need your mouth. I mean, come on. You can still wear the damn mask and you can perform perfectly.
Good old glory holes for the win.
I feel like these people are just tired of the lockdown.
I'm on the drug. What would you call it? Shit, ruined my joke.
Prep.
Thank you.
I would.
No, it's okay. I'm on prep.
I would point out that all the pictures you're seeing are very young people. Here at Sawmill, on the weekend, we had a crowd and it was very young people, and all the old people stayed home. So everyone understands the risk of COVID for older people is more acute, and that's why younger people are out enjoying themselves, and that's the fact.
As well, they should. It's a free country. And quite frankly, if you're not cruising the retirement homes, there's really not a whole lot to worry.
I'd like to thank John for speaking out for the older people of the United States. I do appreciate that voice. It's usually Al that gives it, but I mean, just to keep this up, I said this weeks ago that we gave up, and production didn't hear me. Right. And I'm going to tell you right now, what you're going to hear in 2 or 3 more weeks. What we need is a plan to solve it. Yes.
I just want to point out. I just gave you guys one.
I don't like the whole surrender thing. I don't think we've surrendered. I think that the older people are still trying to be inside and be safe. I think in major cities where there's social pressure, younger people will conform. But on the weekends and at gay venues, they're letting loose. And I don't think anyone's going to stop that.
It's not just gay people. Look at the Trump rally today.
Okay, I don't think age has anything to do with it. I mean, come on.
I don't
you know Al already, okay? If there's a bunch of young kids running around, Al is like a dog.
No, I actually had a guy house this weekend.
I had nothing to do with it.
That's not true. I had a 70-year-old visit me this weekend, very upset because he feels like there's a people don't care about the older people and they're dying. He thinks it's like I can't genocide.
Back that up because 95% of the fatalities are people over age 65. 95% of the fatalities.
Right.
And as we speak, under age 18, 100 people. So the statistics really do bear it out. If you're in that middle group, the odds of you dying from this you're probably more dangerous driving in the car to the gay bar than you are to die from COVID at the bar.
So what do you guys think of Antonio Biaggi's comment that too many gay men just care about getting laid?
The irony is not lost on me that Antonio's making that comment.
Y'all, hold on one sec. David was talking about one of the thread comments. Do that again, David.
Yes. What do you guys think of the comment that Antonio Biaggi made that too many gay men just care about getting laid, doing crystal meth, and having drinks as their social life?
That's pretty harsh. That's a broad stroke. I don't like people talking about my gay men like that. You relax on those gay men. They're not all Jesus.
And we are a festive culture, but I'm also an old bitch, and this is my second viral Holocaust in my lifetime. And so, we do play, and we deserve to play, but we also need to be smart. And statistics don't matter when your story doesn't fit the statistics. We've already done funerals of people who were in the minority group, and their families grieve just as bitterly.
Totally.
And COVID
Totally.
doesn't
A lot
have a
of us are
number.
just over
COVID does
it.
not have a number. Let's be clear. COVID does not have a number. The numbers of folks in New York were not all just elderly folk. They were a gamut of folks. So let's be clear. But what I think is happening is that people are just getting accustomed to living their life the best they can, meaning that there are some social distancing by those who take it seriously. There are some folks who are wearing masks by those who take it seriously. If you pan through some of those images that we saw, we do see it out of maybe 20, there may be one, or out of 50, there may be two. There's a good number of people who are taking it seriously. In addition to that, we talked last week about where we're going to be surprised. I ventured out for the first time at dusk to the beach, and I will say that the beach was nowhere near packed as I thought it was going to be. There were women there, there were gentlemen there who took it serious. Although I went to a far end of the beach that was kind of not very populated, but we were still social distance. There were folks in their own little pod. And so it can be done. We can overcome this. However, the problem is when New York or one other state has gotten their rate down well below a certain percentage versus another state, and New York is having their fun, the other state becomes jealous because there's no uniformity in this country. And there's no uniformity because we have a horrible ass president who set the standard for no uniformity.
You can't
Well,
just
the
blame the
governors
president.
are the ones that control that, not the president.
It's the personal responsibility of every individual to wear a mask. Don't go to a bar if you feel scared that you're going to get coronavirus. You have choices.
But remember, there's a big group of number of people that don't believe in the virus.
LGBTQ natives have
And they can make the choice to not social distance.
protect ourselves because we got things to protect in this country. So Two Spirits and LGBTQ natives, you got this. We have not surrendered.
Okay.
Absolutely. And you can
I'm
get
gonna,
COVID by going to the bar.
I'm gonna bring our conversation on COVID to an end, but I do want to do a flash poll, a question. Now, again, I remind everybody, this is yes or no. Can you please, no pauses, no added words, no sarcasm, just yes or no, because America wants to hear exactly what you think, and your clarity is in yes or no. Here's our question. COVID-19. Is it time to accept whatever happens next? Yes or no? Is it time to accept whatever happens next? We ask Randy.
Yes.
Darrell.
No.
Matthew.
No.
Houston.
Never.
Ty.
No. No.
John.
No.
Rossaroni.
No.
Elimination.
No.
Amber.
Yes.
Denise.
No.
And George.
Yes.
There is about a 30% rate of accept whatever happens next now. That is growing. That is growing in the LGBTQ community that will voice it publicly. We'll continue to keep our finger on this pulse. Next, we want to return to just one more sentence. We're going to tell the story in this unique format. Patrick Swayze in a dress. Full stop. Let's think about that for a moment. Add Wesley Snipes, Julie Newmar, Stocking Channing, Blythe Danner, Naomi Campbell, RuPaul, Coco Peru, and Joey Arias. And you have something groundbreaking in LGBTQ theme film. So let's write the story in just one more sentence. Headline, it's the 25th anniversary of Tu Wong Fu. And yes, Miss Rachel Tension too. So let's begin. Randy.
Oh my gosh, this movie inspired me to go to my mom's dresser and steal her lipstick and try it on for myself.
Darrell.
Tu Wong Fu put on the big screen what many of us have always known, that gender-bending queers are badass heroes.
That's it. Matthew.
Oh my God, I'm just now realizing that was RuPaul. I thought that was Joy Vila on the red carpet.
Oh. Houston.
Queer, trans, people of color, the spotlight is yours. Step up and claim it.
Ty.
I can't believe it was 25 years ago, but what I can't believe even more is that I remember something from when I was 2, full stop.
Child,
That gay.
child, you saw that movie when you were 38. What are you talking about? John.
Do you think I'm going to comment on this? No, I don't think so. I'm going to find a man and ride him all the way to New York City and away from all you puckered up, stuck up putas.
My God. That was John Holt. All right, Rossaroni.
No movie has ever made me so hungry for strawberry pie.
Exactly.
I know, soft chocolate was
Elimination.
not funny.
Kudos for them trying to ensure that our siblings have a seat at the table, but let's not forget that trans is not drag.
That's true. Amber?
Rue, we're proud of you. Thank you for everything that you have done for the LGBT community. It has truly been your life's work. You're beautiful.
And Denise?
Well, to quote Vita Boheme, well, Pumpkin, it comes down to that age-old decision, style or substance, and that movie had both.
Exactly.
Yes.
And to our little Latin boy in a dress, George.
I gotta tell you, I kind of thought it was a poor ripoff of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Yeah.
Oh,
I agree.
I hear that.
I agree with that
those
too.
are fighting words, sir. Fighting words. All right, let's move into another just one more sentence. What does a Disney star do after Disney?
Porn.
Get on his knees.
Well, apparently,
We hope.
apparently it's porn and OnlyFans. A pop singer with a brother in the Backstreet Boys and dated Lindsay Lohan and a bevy of Hollywood stars apparently can satisfy gay men in need for graphic and more graphic sounds. So let's write the story in just one more sentence. Headline: Aaron Carter makes his porn debut as LGBTQ America learns he's got the goods. And by the way, translation, goods means big dick.
Gross.
Randy. Gross. Randy.
Ooh, I can't wait to get off this so I can subscribe right away.
Darrell?
You say big. It was long and thin. He could check your oil. But in any
Thank you
case,
for warning.
I don't even care about any of that. If it's attached to you and it reaches to me, it's perfect.
It's about girth on this
Wait,
show.
Darrell only says that because of he's comparing him to his husband. Matthew?
I really don't care. Why didn't he just turn around? That's what I was interested in. I want to see him turn around and then bend over. Then I can go ahead and check his oil.
And Houston?
I don't care if he's got the goods, more power to him. He's just not my type. Moving on.
Move on. Ty?
Oh, she's still recovering. She's still recovering.
You're a bitch. Ty is a bitch. All right. John?
If everyone is on that site doing porn, who's watching it? I mean, every star now is out there.
Wait, first, Mr. Holt is watching it.
Oh,
Rossaroni.
Did we really think he was going to survive off the money he made from I Want Candy? Really?
Very good.
Elimination.
I could have had a V8.
Amber.
I can't get hard for him because I've watched him having a mental breakdown for like the last 9 months on Instagram. It's not hot.
Yeah, okay. And Denise? I agree with you, by the way. Denise?
I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
Let's speak about that dick.
George?
I can do it 3 words. Over inked twink.
Perfect. I love it.
That's pretty good.
That's very good.
You know,
Al wishes he thought of that.
I think I now know what my Grindr profile will say. Over ink twink. Thank you.
Funny. All right, let's continue on. Often we criticize our LGBTQ community for bullying, reading, drama, and more. What is it about us? The straight community likes their TV wrestling, scripted reality drama, but for us, our WWE might actually be called RuPaul's Drag Race. Watch this.
How did you land on this look and what gave you the conviction to know this is my drag? one thing that I think is interesting, there's a lot of sheep in the drag community, and I think it is hilarious that after Bianca won wearing lower lashes, which I've always worn, I didn't invent it. They had that in the late 60s, and I'm sure they had it in show business before that. But I love that that's like a trend now that they think, oh, maybe I can get on Drag Race if I do the RuPaul Drag Race, you know, a zombie with this kind of contour and this kind of padding and a rose in the hair, just like Ru. But the funny thing to me is like, well, it's like I don't wear lower lashes because they're trendy or because Bianca won a couple years doing it. I wear them because I have beady, close-set eyes, and it makes my eyes look bigger. So this is actually corrective makeup for my face that has developed, if you want to call it my aesthetic, or it might be a little bit too high tone for what you're looking at right now.
Well, that's iconic, Lady Bunny. And Ru's friend, who lets it slip in that interview that the drama is really scripted, edited, and planned at RuPaul's Drag Race. So what? We love it. But what is it about our LGBTQ entertainment, and what does it say about us when those same platforms can lead to bullying, reading, drama, shaming, and the worst of our nature? We're gay. We've been hated on most of our lives. Shouldn't we be better? After all, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is the world's #1 movie star, made famous first by fake reality wrestling. So what if drag queens and the producers of drag queens are doing the same thing? So we look at hot topic #3 tonight. What is it about LGBTQ drama, reality? Lady Bunny and others suggest RuPaul's Drag Race is fake drama to entertain us, and we love it. What do y'all think?
Well,
I think this is showbiz.
let me go ahead and make a phone call to Power because I am very curious about her comment on this one.
This is fake too, everybody. This is all scripted too, so enjoy.
Right,
The show is not scripted. It's completely improvised. You'd be surprised about how well we just come up with this on the spot.
I mean,
How boring would it be if it was just a bunch of queens putting on makeup the whole time? It wouldn't be that great to watch. So you have to like make up some shit and make them fight because that's
right.
Great.
Oh, I feel
just to speak for America, Amber, you've just described half the drag queens on Zoom calls.
You ever watch The Great British Bake Off? Like, there's no drama in that show, and it's so relaxing.
Boring as hell, yeah.
Love that show. But you know what? Here's
Unless
the
your
deal, though.
souffle falls, and then there's major drama.
That does not have the ratings of RuPaul, so hence you can't compare the drama stuff.
Well, RuPaul starts with men dressing up as women, which is interesting to begin with. And then they start getting all attitudey, which really makes it interesting. And then someone gets to win and everyone else gets shoved out. So it's got everything from every place.
Everyone loves a good cat fight. You get a couple of drag queens together, you got it. That's all you need. There's your drama.
Is that the reason why? Is that the reason why the Kim Kardashian family show dropped out, and now Al is creating his own reality show? Because we all know how.
Is he gonna do drag?
I got way too much serious things to be worrying about in my life. I need a little bit of entertainment. Get over it. Have fun. Enjoy yourself, please.
Seriously, I mean, look, 2020, everybody talks about the reality of 2020, and it is hideous. So this is, I mean, it's not just LGBTQ, it's the Housewives, it's Big Brother, we all like it. We all like it because it's fake reality, and that's so much better than real reality.
It's a distraction from what's going on around here.
We need more queer. I don't like the content, and we need more queer content. Turn that shit up.
I'm curious.
I don't like the term fake drama though. It's performance. I mean, performance the showing of a doing. You want people to even the congressional debates are performative. Preaching is performative. Liturgy is performative. It's not fake drama. It's performance, and they do it very well.
I'm curious to all of you. First off, the last season of RuPaul last month, it was the most viewed season ever in history. Season 12 was the most viewed ever in history. It's getting stronger, not weaker. The finale was the largest watched direct LGBT show ever in history. And so one thing about RuPaul's Drag Race. And the other thing is, did y'all realize, I can't remember completely the correct name off the top of my head, but the #1 reality show on television right now is that Love Island show. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Where you go to the island and it's like Survivor, but it's just sex. It is the #1 reality show on television. And they said, wait, the stars of the reality show said, well, we really can't have LGBT representation on the show because it would make it too complicated. We just want to get right to it in terms of pursuing our sexual interests, and we can't have LGBT characters because it would make our sexual experiences too complicated.
I think it's happening out.
Tune into Amazon Prime and watch the Canadian Drag Race. That's where it's at.
I think
Well,
the
there's a
happening
business
out
opportunity for somebody when they do the Gay Island.
So the Happening Out production company has a chance here to do something really interesting, and that's copy the British. They have a show called like Dating at First Sight or something, and it's basically 5 people stood naked behind a screen, and someone watches the screen rise and eliminates everyone as the screen rises, and the very last thing you see is the face. It's always interesting to me to see who goes home when the waist is shown.
And they're totally naked?
Totally naked.
Now I would watch that. I would watch
BBC,
that.
BBC.
Yeah.
They've got some wild shows over there.
What channel is this?
It's BBC.
BBC, you can be naked. We freak out about that in our country.
In clarity to George's observation about having like the Love Island show, but it being Gay Island, we just got a message in from Chef Josie that says it's called Gay Island already exists and it's called Wilton Manors.
And it's a seated island then in that case.
But to
Jesus.
go back to topic. Oh.
Yeah. I'm
To go
curious
back
to the topic specifically, and one of y'all mentioned Houston mentioned RuPaul's Drag Race in Canada. There's a lot of bullying issues going on in the Canada show of fans that call themselves fans of the show that are bullying judges and people coming off Twitter, individual performers, drag queens coming off Twitter because our own community is bullying so hard. That's really the contradiction here. We love, but we love to hate simultaneously. Why are we doing that to ourselves?
Because people that are in pain hurt each other. When people are in pain, they hurt one another and talk to one another like we have been doing.
But even in the straight world, wrestling's the same thing, right? Everyone loves to hate the bad guy when he shows up and the whole crowd boos and throws stuff at him. It's human nature, right? You've got to have your hero and you got to have your anti-hero.
But they're not bullying wrestlers out of careers. They're bullying drag queens out of careers where they're shutting down their social media accounts because they can't take it.
That's oppression. That's horizontal violence.
But is it
horizontal
because
violence?
I thought the Canadian had a problem, the show had a problem because it was racial stereotypically putting certain race and gender, like there was no color individuals on the show.
Well,
I thought
in terms of diversity,
I feel like-
Canada's Drag Race has the first two-spirited contestant ever. There's a native participant in Canada, and it's the first time of any of the RuPaul platforms that somebody had that representation. I don't think so. I think more it is a disagreement from fans of how judges are judging certain queens and what certain queens are saying about other queens. And as a result, it is leading to social media bullying and shaming and really downright
They're just getting
outright-
really into it then.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the question.
There you go.
And by
That's
the
the
way,
danger
John,
of performance.
I just stayed over the weekend at Sawmill for Labor Day weekend. John hosted me and I had a great time. When we went out, who was the hero and who was the anti-hero?
Oh, I'm always the anti-hero, Al.
Exactly. Okay.
You know, when there's ever a competition, the fan, you always going to have your ride or die fans regardless. And the moment that someone goes against or someone that you don't win, that you don't want them to win, is when all the animosity and all the hate starts. Not everybody can win, and ultimately, as it is a contest that maybe lasts for weeks at a time, and they only have a short window to put it in. So they have to manipulate. I mean, it is what it is. They have to manipulate whatever is put out there for good TV. And that's whether we like it or not. RuPaul has made a career of pushing these wonderful performers to the spotlight that may have never gotten an opportunity. And as someone who has competed in an international contest, had we had weeks of a time of getting to know each other, the story would have been very different. However, when you throw a whole bunch of people in for a little bit of time, there's going to be contests where you compete against each other. There's going to be times where you say something that you don't mean, but you have to go back and either apologize, get stronger with it, change your game up, and overcome. And
yeah, but I bet the bullying. I bet the bullying is just publicity, anyways.
Yeah.
But you also don't have with
like
Canada, the Canada Drag Race, you don't have the gravitas of Mother herself being there. And that also, I think, makes a difference, is that people misbehave when the authority figure is not around.
I love the gravitas and drag queen race.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I've got to move our conversation on from out of reality television. But the one thing that I have to tell you, I've been pressuring David for about the last 5 minutes to bring in one of the most interesting comments that are on the string. We have in the thread, we have a comment, but I can't get David to pull it in. It says, Al, this has been one of the most interesting conversations I've ever watched. Signed, Power Infinity. I've just accomplished everything that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Also a known liar.
Viewers want Al in drag for Halloween.
Fully.
All right. Let's.
Yes, Al needs to go into.
Power is not here tonight. Now I know the real truth, the reason why Power is not here. She saw that we were going to talk about this topic, and then she was just like, hell no. The whole time I'm not going to be able
I was
to
afraid
say
that was fake news.
All right. Let's move out of our hot topic number 3 and do just a couple of more of our just one more sentences. We ask, how many of us in the LGBTQ community wanted to be Charlie, from Willy Wonka, a chocolate factory, adoring and doing anything Oompa Loompas, and a slightly crazy but super sexy Johnny Depp? But our fantasy requires a candy factory to make all of those things come true. Well, now our fantasy can finally come true. So let's write this story in just one more sentence. Headline, and this is true: win the golden ticket treasure hunt as Jelly Belly's founder gives away the candy factory. Randy, let's start with you.
Can we start a petition to free the Oompa Loompas?
Oompa Loompas that will do anything. Rel.
Sounds like Max.
Johnny Depp, bitch, please. You remember the Gene Wilder version, and that's the one we fell in love with.
Yes.
Wait, did you just call me a bitch?
She just called you out.
In Christian Love.
Matthew.
When I win the place, does it come with a dentist plan, a dental plan? Because after going through all that candy, I'm definitely going to need one.
Houston.
Oof, with a price tag like that in an economic downturn, it must be a Florida man.
Ty.
Aaron Carter, if you get the ticket, I've got candy.
The Florida treasure hunt is sold out, but I've got your golden ticket right here at Sawmill.
Rossaroni.
It sounds like an opportunity for grown adults just to push and pull candy out of children's hands. You lose. Good day, sir.
Elimination.
Candyman.
Oh,
Dude,
shit,
that's
that
a
he go
different
pop on his
movie.
hair.
That's a different movie. Amber.
Candyman can, cause he mixes it with love and makes the world taste good.
Oh,
The world tastes
we're going
good.
old school.
Oh,
That's
That is
beautiful.
really old
Well
school.
done.
Lovely.
Yes.
Denise. By the way, Amber's a fantastic singer. Denise.
Indeed. The Candyman brings some sweetness to a not-so-sweet year. Violet Beauregard loves Mr. Jelly Belly.
Yeah, absolutely. And George.
Veruca Salt was the great anti-hero of that film.
Gosh, she was amazing.
George, you have been so much fun tonight to listen to. Just so
I
much
like
fun.
George.
You know, you gotta love it when
conservatives we're a lot more fun than you think. You just
He's
gotta
real
spend a little
manly.
time with us.
He's very he's hyper masculine. I like that about him.
Yeah, the ascot really gives that away.
Oh, nice. High five, Ty.
When you quote Veruca Salk, you know you're going to fit in with this crowd probably pretty well. So let's move on. And one more sentence. LGBT America, what is it about us to like our superheroes? This is my favorite story of the week. Slightly bad to the bone. Superman is a sociopath. Aquaman is a coward. The Flash kills people indiscriminately by flashing through human bodies. And then there's the sex, and lots of sex by our bad superheroes. Passionate, dangerous, maybe even wrong. So last year, Amazon Prime gave us everything the LGBTQ community would want or desire. So let's write this story in just one more sentence. Headline: The Boys Season 2 begins, and LGBTQ America goes wild for in our Superman. Randy.
You know, sometimes you want to see the dark side, the bad boy, and we see how bad it can get in bed.
Jarrell.
I have to confess that I've never seen it, but with characters called Frenchie, the Butcher, and the Deep, this better be porn.
The Deep does have a beautiful ass.
I haven't really seen this, but I just do know I am curious. Elimination. How bad can you get? Because from what it looks like, you've been claiming that you're a hero and everything. I want to know how bad you can get.
Houston.
Dude, the world is crazy right now. Give me a little bit of violence, witty, and beefcake. I'm happy for an hour.
Oh, you would love the show then. Ty.
I don't care if it's the boys 1 or the boys 2. The boys are always welcome at this daddy's house.
Oh, you're the daddy now? Yeah, right.
Oh my goodness.
No, Amber.
Feminine lesbian with big dick energy
He knows
just calls
better.
Ty out. I love that. John?
Yeah, the boys too. The Deep causing more marine life damage than SeaWorld.
Rossaroni?
Yeah, no, I watched the show. I thought it was the presidential debate. Like, oops.
Elimination?
Finally, some heroes that I can get into. I wonder what their safe word would be.
That's the fun thing. They have no safe words. Amber.
Oh, I don't know. That's dangerous. Well, I do
Yes.
think that due to the fact that they have superhuman powers, they're probably brutal tops. And I know that all you boys fantasize about that, and that's great, but it does bore me, I have to tell you.
Yeah, Amber, please stop talking about it. Denise?
The sociopaths, cowards, sex, danger. It's like a parallel political universe. Scooby-Doo, where are you?
I disagree with that.
Exactly.
And
This could be a whole new meaning to the concept of this sex will split you in half.
Watch. I want to watch.
Oh, suddenly she's interested.
Well, I'm a voyeur, so.
All right.
It's the only show you'll see somebody get gill fucked.
Well, there you have it, America.
All the holes.
We're gonna
America.
leave on that sentence. Something totally unique from the LGBTQ community. These amazing hosts and several surprise hosts that you did not see tonight will be here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, totally live and unscripted. No matter what Rossaroni says, it's unscripted. Anticipate. We are marching toward November 3rd, 2020, and the election of a lifetime. And in that means we have to consider COVID-19 and race issues and trans rights and your paychecks and unemployment protection. Did anybody remember Congress hasn't passed anything yet?
We all remember.
Our social and sexual interaction and how the LGBTQ community fits into all of these issues. We are literally living the most important single moment of our entire life, and it will all be discussed right here. Tell your friends and your family, share this conversation, participate. We are either a community or we're not. You only need to look into the eyes of this incredible diversity you see sitting in front of you to know we are a strong LGBTQ community, and it's time to come together, no matter where it is that we want to march. So thank you for joining us. And until next time, the conversation is just beginning on Gay Town Hall. Good night, America.
Peace out, bitches.
Are we clear?
It was active. Hey guys, thanks for joining as usual. Great show, and it was a decent amount of time. Everything's disconnected, so you can head out if you'd like. We'll be shutting down the room in a moment. Yeah, if anybody needs help, we'll get the host stuff figured out tomorrow in the morning. And text me or email me. Denise, I still have to get you a Gay Town Hall email, so I'll get that to you tomorrow. And thank you,
David.
George. It was a lot of fun having you on there.
George, you were great.
All right, guys, have a good night.
Yes, thanks, George.
Good night, beautiful people.